Hey, quick riddle for you. When's a password reset not a password reset? Well, because of a customer issue that I came across this week, turns out there are a few scenarios if you're in hybrid AD where a password reset doesn't actually count as a password reset. We'll dig into kind of the background here, but essentially when you have hybrid AD configured, that is, you have Entra ID, which is your online M365 identity pool, if you like, and you have your on-premises AD pool, if you like, and you set up AD Connect to synchronize your data and your attributes between them. Now, there is technology called password writeback, which means that when you change the password online, the password is pushed back to the on-prem AD. And also AD Connect takes care of when the password is changed on-prem, that it is pushed and synchronized up to online. Turns out that there are different ways of resetting the password, and some of those things don't synchronize the password change. This is because the password writeback process is not an active process. I thought it was sitting there looking for a password change to occur, then it would take that password change and it would write it back. Turns out, because of the security around it, that's not what actually happens. So, what does happen when you change a password, if the user uses the SSPR, self-service password reset, or through one of the supported mechanisms that calls the writeback service, the plain text password that is put in is encrypted using a public key that is sent through the service tunnel back to the on-prem AD service. Now, interestingly, that is an outbound connection, so it's put into the Azure Service Bus, I think it's called, that pulls that back to on-prem through an outbound connection. That is then decrypted by the Azure AD Connect server using its private certificate. The password is written into AD, and if there is an issue because it contravenes your organizational password policy or something along those lines, you get feedback immediately. Turns out that you have to invoke that service specifically. So if you change the user's password through Entra ID portal, that works. If you change it through some Graph API commands, some of them work, some of them don't. If you change the user's password using the Office 365 or the M365 admin portal, that doesn't call the password writeback mechanism. So you end up with a disparity where you have the online user account has been changed and the on-prem user account hasn't been changed. So there you go. Turns out that a password reset is not just a password reset, and if you have writeback configured, then you need to make sure you're doing the password reset through an automated fashion using the correct tooling. Kind of curious, interesting, was news to me, so I thought I'd share. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.